Hi, I'm Tyler.
I'm Aiden, and this is our History of Medicine research project on the Korean War in the 1950s.
The Korean War provided an opportunity to study and test new equipment and procedures, many of which would go on to become standards of care in both the military and civilian medical communities. These included vascular reconstruction, the use of artificial kidneys, the development of lightweight body armor, and the research on the effects of extreme cold weather on the body, which improved cold weather medical advice and treatment.
The newest antibiotics were widely used, and the other drugs that advanced medical care included the anticoagulant heparin, the sedative Nembutal, and the use of serum albumin in the whole blood to treat the shock cases. In addition, computerized data collection of the type of battle and non-battle casualties was used for the first time. During the Korean War, nurses served in MASH units, on board hospital ships, on medevac aircrafts, and in hospitals in Japan. Nurses were all women as the formation of the U.S. Army. Nurse Corps in 1901 banned men from serving as military nurses until 1955. Men who worked professionally as nurses served in the military during this time, but they were never assigned to nursing.
Some things that they did were worked hand in hand with medical helicopters, mobile army surgical hospitals, and saved wounded troops all over the Korean peninsula. A seriously injured soldier brought to the MASH unit had a 97% chance of survival after treatment. Transporting blood in blood banks weren't new concepts at the time of the Korean War, but it was during the war, 1950 to 1953, that the military adopted plastic bags for storing, shipping, and administrating blood. Before this, blood was stored and transported in glass bottles.
During the Korean War, the military started using plastic bags for blood, or a method later adopted around the world.
Some other medical advancements in the 1950s were the polio vaccine was developed by Jonas Salk.
The first successful kidney transplants from a living organ donor and from a deceased donor was performed, and the first successful kidney transplant was also the first successful human organ transplant.
Battery-powered cardiac pacemakers were developed.
Artificial heart valves were first successfully implanted into humans. Chemotherapy came into use for cancer treatment, and the chemotherapy drug methotrate cures metastatic cancer for the first time in 1956.
A number of groundbreaking epidemical studies were published linking smoking to lung cancer. Also, results from a major study commissioned by the American Cancer Society were published in 1957 about smoking.
In conclusion, major advances in medical care systems developed or were accelerated because of the Korean War. The MASH unit was taken from the drawing board to the battlefield to bring definitive care close to the wounded soldiers. Helicopters were recognized as potential flying ambulances to bring injured soldiers from the fight to the MASH units more quickly.
Blood collection and distribution were reestablished, and the use of plastic containers was infiltrated. Body armor was field tested and then distributed to protect the fighting force. In each instance, the new improvement which saved lives on the battlefield was adopted into civilian sectors.